Morning, everybody. Here we are at SEMA 2009. I'm standing here with the pleasure of Calvin, from the president of ATI. And Calvin, would you like to give me a little heads up on what you're doing here at ATI?
Sure. Actually, ATI was founded in 2001, and we actually started as a plastics manufacturer, family business for 23 years. And as a hobbyist, I actually had a concept for a product. And that product is actually a gauge solution. It's a gauge pod, which we have on display here. From 2001 on, that product line just basically expanded and expanded. And to add some value to our product line, we decided to manufacture gauges as well, under a different brand called Stry. So with a combination of ATI's gauge pod and Stry's gauges, we now think we have a good gauge solution for the market. Everything's pretty much on display. The feedback has been phenomenal. And we wanted to also represent our product not just on the walls, but in actual vehicles. And I think what we're doing here is we're going to introduce our project, this BMW M3, which we've been working on for a number of months. And this car is actually going to be shown at a number of events as well as being tracked. Okay.
You know, you mentioned this beautiful M3 that we're standing in front of, and I can't help but notice that you know, a lot of the trends out there, especially with the European cars, tend to stay with European modifications. You know, I notice on yours you haven't. Could you kind of elaborate on that?
Sure. Actually, one of the main themes of this vehicle build was we wanted to show the community that just because it's a BMW doesn't mean you have to put German parts or European parts on the vehicle. So we've tapped into a number of our resources and relationships that we've had in the past 7 years, and we decided to build something we think is a little unique. One of the first things you'll notice about this car is the body kit. Everyone seems to know that it's not a BMW M3, but it's got a unique body. It's made by Amuse. It's a company in Japan, very, very high-end manufacturer of body kits, and we had it shipped here. It took about a month and a half to get, but it was well worth it. From there, we actually wanted to concentrate not just on the look of the car, but also some performance. And we approached a number of our previous sponsors, our partners. Recaro provided us with some leather pole position seats. They hold us on real well onto the track. Advan, a company from Japan now, again back to the whole mix of Eurasian, you could say, they provided us with some 20-inch Advan wheels, also direct from Japan. And for tires, we actually went to Pirelli. It's the first time we've worked with Pirelli, but they were very interested in the project, especially when they heard we were going to track this car. You know, most people want to know that not only does it look good, but it performs. Even though people know the M3 performs, we wanted to go a little bit beyond what the stock M3 could do. Now, being that we're going to track this car, we also need to know, or let the people know, that we need to stop. So we went to Brembo, who's been partners with us for a number of years, and we put on 15-inch rotors entirely, front and rear, which feels incredible. Lastly, as far as the suspension goes, we went with KW. And we weren't sure which KW suspension we wanted. You know, maybe the Variant 3, but after some discussions with the KW team, we decided the Club Sport would be the best choice for this car. And it's spot on. I drive the car myself, and it drives daily. It feels great, and I'm excited to track the car in a couple of weeks. Right now, I'm really happy with the project. We also have a couple of other folks that I'd like to mention.
Sure.
Active Auto Works has provided us with a number of products, including exhaust system. Rogue Engineering has provided us with a short shifter. Again, things to help us perform. European Auto Sources also helped us put this car together. They spent a lot of time with labor. One other thing that's probably a little bit different is we decided to put an audio system in the car.
Okay.
Yeah, and most people probably wonder, well, performance cars don't really have audio systems, but we also know that BMW owners have high quality tastes.
That's true.
And we thought that the stock system was not quite up to par. So Focal actually joined our program, and they spent 8 days on building a custom audio system for this car, and it's the first in the world. They have a processor for this car that will be launched after it's completed.
Oh, wow.
So we've got great partners. It's really the most accurate thing to say, and we hope that we have some long-term relationships with them.
That's great. Yeah. You know, if you don't mind me backing up a little bit, mentioning the KW suspension, you know. You said that you went through the discussion with the KW team about whether you should go with the Variant 3 or go with the Club Sport, you know, and I think there's a lot of misconceptions out there that, you know, once you step up to the Club Sports, you know, the ride quality is really going to suffer. You know, what are your thoughts on that?
I have to tell you, that's exactly right. Even personally, we've used KW before, and I was just a little bit worried that we wouldn't be able to drive this car daily. And it being that I drive it myself daily, I did a little homework. Not only did I speak to KW, I spoke to the community, you know, with the relationships and partners that we've met over the years. We've heard from folks in New York City. I mean, I'm from New York. The roads are horrible. And folks tell us that they drive KW Club Sports on the road daily in New York City. So, you know, of course, you never know until you try it yourself.
Sure.
But I have trust in KW. And after we've put them on, I just can't say enough about it. Everybody we've spoken to, I just tell them that Club Sport, to me, right now, is really the way to go. And I think when we hit the tracks with it, I think we'll be happy. And I think, you know, especially the folks at, you know, KW as well as Pirelli, who are very keen to see how well this car does on a track, I think they'll all be really happy with the outcome.
That's great. Well, Calvin, you know, I really appreciate the support, and I appreciate you taking the time with us today, and I wish you all the success in the world.
All right. Thanks for all the time, and thanks for your support.
No problem. Thank you.